Well, big commitment last night.
Big, yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about it
Yeah.
here. So we were you were touching wood. I was running around baseball fields as usual, so we didn't get to talk about it. But DeAnthony Lafayette, defensive end out of Orlando, Lake Nona, commits to the U. This is one that, P, as you pull up the clips, I am extremely excited about. This is a you were saying it in the chat, but I think people need to know this was a priority addition for the Canes. This was not somebody they took because, I don't know, they missed out on someone else. This was a major priority for the program to land a DeAnthony Lafayette. 6'1", 230. So people say, okay, he's short. Long arms, number one. Number two, this is a elite athlete at that particular position. He is one of the best discus throwers in his region. I believe he won regions in discus. Throws the shot put. Also a sprinter. He's on the 4x1 team that placed third in districts. He ran 11-3. He plays running back at times for his team, and he's got more sacks. I think they said he's got something like 35 sacks the past 2 seasons, and this season's still going. One of the elite producers in terms of rushing the passer. There you go. Leads the country in sacks in 7A. This is just his midseason highlights. He's been rolling ever since these clips came out. But we've talked about the lateral cut that this guy has. Look at this. Whoop! I mean, that's unusual. And then again, you look at the discus, the shot put, the sprints, the fact that he plays running back, just an all-around athlete here who also is a rush specialist, plays extremely hard, works extremely hard, coach's favorite. I know Heatherman loves this guy. High school coaches love him. You hear comparisons from other college coaches. I know 247's been interviewing guys. You hear names like Harold Perkins, R. Mason Thomas, really 2 Florida guys kind of jumped to the front. Oklahoma offered him early, and they had Eric Stryker from Sefner Armwood, same high school as Gerard Pringle. R. Mason Thomas from South Florida, killing right now as a pass rusher. Those smaller guys who can get after the passer, if they have the unique athleticism in the feel, they can make a huge impact on your game.
Yeah, and it was John Z who had made the comment earlier, so he just made another one now. He said 6'1", 230, though. Wish we didn't miss on all those 5-star edges. They're still in the mix for some of those guys, number one. And again, they've been working on this guy since the summer, D. So it's not like this one just popped up on the radar. Different type of player than some of the other guys we're talking about.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. You see him there at linebacker, so he can play linebacker a little bit too. He lined up a middle linebacker, made the tackle, just a football player. But I think, yes, different type of player. And look, 6'1", is he going to be setting the edge consistently? Like, I don't know, Dylan Stewart or whoever, just super freak size guy? No, the Ruben Bain, right? He's not going to do that. But he can make an impact on his snaps that changes the game, that gets the ball back for your offense because of his ability to rush the passer. R. Mason Thomas for Oklahoma is going to get drafted pretty significantly. He is not a run stopper at all. Eric Stryker was 6 foot.
Man. He is so quick.
Unbelievable, man. It's like if you're going to get a guy like this, number one, they got to be stupid productive, right? If you're taking a pass rush specialist, they got to be a pass rush specialist. They got to have a ton of sacks. This guy has that. But then you got to be super athletic. And again, when you talk about the track and field exploits, the fact that he plays running back, and like you said, the quickness, I mean, this is a freak. So that's what you want if you're getting a guy that's going to be a specialist, right?
Yeah, and New Kid Gone says feels like another Malik Bryant. The difference is Malik Bryant was really playing inside linebacker in the high school level. He really started playing this position when he got to Miami. Just had surgery last week, as we saw he posted yesterday there, shin injury. So I think it's a different situation. This guy's already a specialist at what he does.
Well, Malik did play he played both, right? I think he wanted to be a linebacker, so he started out playing this position.
Right.
And they tried to transition him to linebacker.
To me, it's a different situation.
But yeah, I think the big difference between the two, Malik was good against the run. You know, there's a reason why they tried to switch him to linebacker, is because they thought that's where his best future was. It ended up being better at defensive end, or like that outside rush player. He would have played more this year, just been injured. So, injuries stink. You hope he gets better and heals up, because he is a good football player. But I think with Lafayette, he's just much more of an athletic pass rusher. Like Malik Bryant wasn't leading the country in sacks. He wasn't playing, playing running back, doing all these things on the track. Both Orlando guys, actually. But I think that's the biggest difference, is this guy is stupid athletic, like unusually athletic and functionally athletic when it comes to rushing the passer in a way that shows up in the production level. Because there's just, again, there's the only guy on the team that's been the only two people I think that were this productive from a sack standpoint. Well, Hayden Lowe is pretty productive, but you'd say Ruben Bain and then Herbert Scroggins, right? It was another one that was very productive, like in terms of just dominating, one of the national leaders in sacks. But I think the quickness of this guy, he would be, and Pete, tell me if you think I disagree, Marquise Lightfoot and him would be day one, the two most athletic defensive ends, with Lafayette probably being just a little more laterally quick than Lightfoot being taller. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you got to throw, I'm looking for the comment here. Just Chase said DeAnthony and Ashari are the type of undersized freakish talents you rarely see on a team at the same time. I wouldn't even call Ashari Charles undersized. I mean, he's already in the 250 plus range. I think he's going to be able to put even more weight on and be a guy who contributes at Miami, no doubt about it. But yeah, both of them, they're twitch. The twitch is what you're looking for, and you see it with both of them.
Yeah, someone mentioned Nick Bonito. It's not like a 1-for-1 kind of deal, but Nick Bonito, there was a lot of tweener talk about Nick Bonito when he was coming out. We know because we, meaning you and I, were very much, we should get Nick Bonito, right? Nick Bonito should be a Cane, right? And that was not reciprocated by the staff at that time. They didn't think he should have been a Cane. They thought he was a tweener, whatever. He was a great basketball player, great athlete, but they didn't view him that way. Oklahoma gets him. Like we mentioned, Oklahoma got our Mason Thomas, who's going to be a pro and is very impactful in college for a very good defense in Oklahoma. They had Eric Stryker, who was one of the best players in the Big 12. Bonito was another one like that. So you look at Bonito's stats, 6'3". These are his combine stats. This is after 4 years of development. Nick Bonito was 6'3", 248. So maybe a little bit taller, but not somebody that you would say is setting the edge. But then you look at the combine, he ran 4.7 in the 40. Actually, sorry, that was this was a high school player. So as a high school player, this is actually probably a better comparison. As a high school player, 4.7 in the 40, 31-inch vert, 4.2 6 shuttle, power throw 32, spark 87.9. I mean, Lafayette, I'm pretty sure is going to be in all those ranges. He's running 11.3. He's probably in that 4.7 range on the 40 at least. His shuttle's got to be off the charts with the way he moves laterally, and his power throw is probably even better than Benito's because this guy's a district champion in the discus and someone who competes in the shot put. So I'm not comparing him to Bonito. Saying he's going to. Well, let me say I'm not saying he's going to be Bonito, but I think if you look at Bonito, Stryker, R. Mason Thomas, he's in that family, and guess what? Venables in Oklahoma really wanted him and tried to get him.
Yep. Big fan. So
I like these labels. He has all the sacks and he goes pass rush for no sack, and it's just all his pressures. But if you watch so let me pull up Pete while we're talking about him, because I want to bring this up because a lot of coaches have reached out and said, hey, make sure you're seeing this, which is we talked about the lateral quickness and the athleticism this guy plays with. This guy's actually a running back. Like, it's not just like he's built like a running back, like he's quick like a running back. Like, this guy actually plays tailback. I need to get the Huddle premium so we don't have these Huddle commercials here. But there you see number 8 right there, lined up in the backfield. Nice and easy. And if you watch his runs, it's funny. Like, there's a lot of clips of him. This is just one game. One recent game. Wow, man, he is that inside move is like unstoppable because he can get outside of you with his speed, and that inside move is so quick. But here, I mean, look at this guy playing running back. Look at the balance. See that spin move?
Looks like that 27 back you tried showing me the other day.
Hey, listen, big backs need love too. But look at that. This guy's inside move is unstoppable, man. Teams are so worried about off the tackle, so worried about his outside move and his speed rush and his bend. That inside move is just killing him. But yeah, look, I mean, you see him. This is just one game, and look how much he's impacting the game as a pass rusher and then as a runner. Then look, a straight power rush. So he's showing you different. Just in one game, he's showing you the different things he can do. He can go outside, he can go inside, then he can go right through. And then, maybe if we need a running, we could use a big back. Mario's might be watching us, getting some ideas. Look at that. Look at the balance, man. Look at this dude dragging people.
Hopefully not.
Well, Malador got a touchdown. You never know.
Yeah, he did. He did.
How do you rank this guy, P? Like, in terms of like in this class, like, do you see him as like a solid guy? Do you see him as like an impactful guy? Like, just where do you?
I think he could be
guys
very impactful. I think he could be very impactful. Yeah, I think he could be really, really impactful. I gotta see how the body develops. But if he's a legit 230 right now, he can put on 10, 15 pretty easily, I would say. Now, how does he move with the added weight? We'll see.
Eric Kane says, wait, they ran a counter out of shotgun. Send that to Dawson. Anthony Gonzalez. I don't know if he has any relation to the original Cuban player, first rounder before Mendoza. Anthony Gonzalez, the receiver from Ohio State. Were you too young for that, Pete? Do you remember that guy?
No, I remember him, the number 11. But you're also wrong about that. Was Ralph Ortega not?
You're right.
He's the original Cuban, top 5 pick of the draft, right?
You're right. Buck Ortega's dad, another NFL player.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right.
I had to hear about that, whatever it was, the late 60s Gables team. My dad used to tell me about that because when the Northwestern team in 08 came around, and I was a big fan of that team. Where we roam, go Bulls. All I heard from my dad was, man, that's the 68 Gables team. You had 2 first round picks, whatever. Ralph Ortega, man. Don't forget his greatness.
Yeah, great call. Now I'm actually looking at it. So he was the 29th pick of the draft, Ortega.
But they had another guy who was a top pick, I believe. So I don't know.
There was a Cuban receiver for Florida at that time. I think he might have also gone to Gables. I forgot they called him the Cuban Comet or something like that.
Yeah, the Cuban Comet. Yeah.
There was another one of those guys. There's like the legends that we all hear about all the time, man. It's like there's not that many. Although now Mendoza is changing that, and hopefully some of our own guys, because too many of these guys going Big Ten. Mendoza at Indiana, Anthony Gonzalez at Ohio State. We need some here. Jason Lopez, man, I'm gonna keep hammering that. But stay there. Steven Smith says, "Love those '60s Gables teams. My dad's talk about it all the time." So before we get off Lafayette, because this we're talking about Lafayette here before we get too far off track. 5 Ring says, "Badass football player. Canes are lucky to have him. He's a steal." LM talking about Pringle. Yeah, Pringle Armwood guy. I mentioned Eric Stryker, who a lot of people comp DeAnthony Lafayette to. He was an Armwood guy that went to Oklahoma. So nice to start getting those guys stay at home. Kellen Wiley, another one. Let's just put the junior highlights of DeAnthony Lafayette. So I want to correct something, Pete, because I know you were correcting in the chat as we watch the junior highlights here. Like people are saying, oh, this is like a backup plan to XYZ. That's not the case at all. Like, you know this because you talk to people. I know this. As you see, look, these are national rankings and stats, and you see where he ranks. This is
listen. We can debate in a few years whether or not he should have been prioritized, but that's how they view him right now. D. They think he's a top 10 pass rusher in the country with this skill set, and they're not going to pass on that guy because he's maybe an inch below what you'd want. Right?
And you watch Go ahead.
No, that was what I was saying.
You're watching these highlights. So I'm watching the first 3 rushes, all sacks, outside rushes. He's getting outside and bending with his speed. I saw an outside spin. There's another one. So it's funny. You're watching his junior film. You're watching all these outside rushes where he's able to get outside, use his speed and bend. He had a spin move outside on one of them. Then you watch all of his senior film that we watched first, and he was killing guys with the inside. There he is with the inside move again. So I think it was Coach Cool who used to talk about, really, you only need a couple moves. You need a go-to move, and you need to counter off that.
Von Miller talks about it all the time, too.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's got this guy going outside with his speed and bend is going to be tough to deal with. And then that lateral quickness to the inside is like really unusual. So put those two together with the motor and the feel. He's got long arms. He can finish, obviously, when you're national leader in sacks 2 years in a row. 3rd and 7 and above, I want this guy on the field consistently, man. I think he's going to be a major, major problem. And I think this was a priority recruit. This is not like, hey, we're not taking Tank Jones or these other guys. Like, we're trying to get all those guys. We're trying to get all the different body types into the room, all those blue chip elite players that we think can help us. But this is a guy that they think for his skill set could not just be a good player, but extraordinary.
And I'll say it. Look, D, I don't know. Like I just said a minute ago, I don't know how his body will take more weight. Will he stay as quick? Like Novice Gamer's been making some good points about the body type stuff, saying that a lot of guys add weight. We're talking about a different position here, but he's saying Lyle gained all that weight, does not look the same. Some guys just, that's their frame naturally, that's going to fill out that way. Lyle's dad's a big dude. You've seen him, D. Mario's talked about it, right? So like there are guys who just have a certain frame that you can't stop it. You just can't stop where that train's going. And I would have liked to, this is something we should talk about with Aman also, because he'll explain, and having, you know, seen guys' bodies just like as they mature, you just grow. They always say, you know, how is he going to grow into the frame? We'll see what it looks like here. But just naturally, man, these guys will be eating a much more regimented way once they get here. They're going to be training way differently. It will just come on. And it's not like they're like trying to be saying, oh, I want to put 20 pounds. It will happen naturally. How their bodies adjust to it, we'll see.
And 100%. And you just, speaking of guys that had size concerns, you saw in that last clip, this is junior highlights. We saw the senior highlights to start, the midseason senior highlights. He broke Zane Durant's school record at Lake Nona as a junior, his school sack record. Zane Durant was a guy, remember, we heard he was undersized. Manny wanted him down here in Miami, and then obviously James Franklin wanted him. He ended up going to Penn State. Really, really good player for Penn State as an athletic, maybe somewhat undersized, but extreme, freakishly athletic. I think he also played running back too, similar in that way. Defensive lineman. So Zane Durant is not the comp I would use, because I don't think he'll be an interior player. I think he'll be an outside player. But I think the fact that they went to the same school, it's a similar trajectory where you say, okay, yeah, this guy is not the tallest, but the athleticism is so freakish, the impact is so good as a pass rusher and his explosive presence that he'll go to a Penn State like Durant. He'll be committed to an LSU like DeAnthony Lafayette was before the coaching staff left. Oklahoma will be after him. Like this is like not big time schools are after guys like this despite their height, because they're just so athletic and so impactful.
D, you said Manny wanted Zane Durant.
He did.
What happened? He just couldn't land him.
Couldn't land him.
Shocker.
He coached him at Penn State when he went up there, so he was able to get him that way. But James Franklin,
and he can't coach. That's a double whammy. So, anyways,
here's some special teams. I'd like to see that. I mean, this guy can move in the open field. We said this up top, but it's worth saying again for everybody tuning in. 94 Canes alum. Thank you to all the veterans. Happy Veterans Day to all who served, keeping this country safe and free. You are extremely appreciated, man, and we have a ton of veterans that listen to this show. I cannot thank you enough for all that you do for this country. Yeah, and Nashville Can, another one. You know, Bain was a higher rated recruit, but he was not a 5-star because of his height. He's going to get drafted top 15 and be one of the best college football players in the country. So another one, you look at Bain, the height was the problem. He was heavier than Lafayette, more powerful, probably not as fast, but the height held him back theoretically from a high ranking. And we know how that turned out. He was a dominant player, which, by the way, he was in high school, a dominant sack artist in high school. Sack production tends to translate to the next level, especially when it's coming off of some of the moves this guy's doing. We're just beating guys, one-on-one and finishing. I mean, that's a sticky stat. High school to college, college to pro. We saw with Bain, didn't matter how tall he was. We saw with R. Mason Thomas, and now I think we're seeing it here with DeAnthony Lafayette. Big time pickup. And before we get off this topic, Pete, we said it. We did the video last week. Actually, it was yesterday. We said, I did the bank on Sunday. I said, keep an eye out. It was Saturday. I dropped the bank and I said, we're going to go on a little run here. I listed J.J. Dunnigan. I listed DeAnthony Lafayette. I listed Isaac Chukwura. I listed Logan Nagel. And I said, we continue to work on a Blake Stewart. And you see Dunnigan off the board, big time safety commit. We did that video. Lafayette.
Yeah, I read somewhere that it looks like Blake Stewart might be at Georgia this weekend, which, that to me, man, I said it yesterday. I'm in wait and see mode in that one. If he ends up at Georgia this weekend, then I have a tough time seeing that one getting done.
Yeah, that one you hope to be done already. I'm with you on that. But that's, obviously they're still pushing there and trying to get that one done. But then Logan Nagel, I think great shot. You get him from Pitt. I think it's a great shot. You get Chukwura, Penn State decommit. And it's like, look, these are the schools that are getting these guys and turning them into studs. Penn State's producing these studs that we say, why don't we have those guys? Pittsburgh's producing these guys on the defensive line. We say, why don't we have one of those? LSU, who had Lafayette committed, Oklahoma, who wanted him, they're getting guys that can get after the passer. And we say, man, wish we had a guy like that. So these are schools that know what they're doing with these kind of players. And we're not stealing these players from Austin P, from Nicholls State, right? Remember back in the golden era and the Shannon era, we'd be pulling guys out the day before signing day that I had to kind of lie to myself about.
We did flip an FAU D lineman, but FSU wanted him, Michigan State wanted him.
Santius, yeah, he was just a late bloomer. All the big schools were after him, but the Haitian, he's from Haiti, right? So he was just a young.
No, I'm a fan of his. I had to mention that.
We flipped from FAU like before the season, or like right in the beginning of the season, whereas he was going to decommit and be, a full-on recruit. It was back in the day. I remember we used to be like, P, you might be young for this one, but I remember like it was like the day before signing day. It's like we get some guy named Junior Alexis, and you see his highlight or his who didn't have highlights. He would just have like a profile with one of those shadows, those shadow figures that they put when they don't have a picture of you, and 0 stars. And then you'd read articles like, hey, this guy he ran a really fast shuttle at some camp or something. Like you lie to yourself. At least I would certainly lie to myself about all these guys. Delmar Taylor from Bahamas.
Yeah.
We'd be making up these guys. And then, these are much different situations.
Are we done talking recruiting? Because there's something before we wrap things up I want to bring up real quick. It's not Canes related. All right, take the highlights off here.
Let's get up.
Someone brought it up in the comments right now, and I'm glad they did. It's
1459 live. Like and subscribe. DeAnthony Lafayette, welcome to the U.